Good morning, everyone. This is Chris, IMT on Worldwide Radio, and this is Around the ATL Side Notes. This morning is unscripted. That's why in the description, there is no description, and I don't actually have a plan today, okay? So the short story is I fell asleep in my clothes last night. This is what I had on. And I woke up in pain again over the weekend. I hurt my knee pretty bad. I've been on ibuprofen the whole weekend. I never take any kind of pain, anything. So for me to do it a whole weekend is kind of messed up. But I woke up and I said, you know what? I need to do a show based on a couple of posts from yesterday. All right. So that's what I'm doing today. And as I go through the show, you might start kind of seeing where I'm going with this. Hopefully that will work. We'll see. In the meantime, before I get started, of course, make sure you subscribe to the IMT on Worldwide Radio page. I appreciate that. Hit the notification button so that the next show, you'll know about it. You can also follow on Facebook or Instagram, whichever you're on more, IMT on Worldwide Radio. You can follow me on Twitter, which I'm on all the time pretty much. Right there, Intellect, where is it? Here it is. IMTM Radio is the Twitter page for the show. Intellect ATL is mine. And Jordan23 is my co-host, Jordan Jackson. So make sure you hit us up on there on a regular basis if you can. I do plan on being in Atlanta July 14th if things work out. So if you know somebody right now who needs a photo shoot, they need to book me today. So go to imtmworldwideimages.com or follow me on IMTM Worldwide Images 1 if you need headshots for acting or business, if you need some family portraits, if you know someone who's trying to do some modeling, you know some musicians, whatever it is, hit me up and see if we can do something today, though, because I don't live in Atlanta. It's a 2-hour trip. I kind of need to know today. All right. So that being said, I've been trying to figure out how I was going to do this on the fly with like Batman, no prep time. So now that I'm doing this, now I'm actually really trying to figure out how I'm going to do this now. Because I didn't write a show, I didn't produce anything, and literally I just woke up, and I kind of want to go into a couple of things, but what I will do is this. First of all, let me make sure that everything is still working. Okay, check. And by the way, don't forget you can go to the comment section and type in a comment. Make sure it's clean. All right. So I'm gonna pick a year, and maybe I should, you know what? This is what I should do. I should move this screen over to my other monitor. That might help me out a little bit. There we go. So that way I don't get confused. So I'm gonna pick a year. 1986. Yeah, that's good. The Atlanta Hawks, because this is Hawks talk, by the way. The Atlanta Hawks in 1986 went 57-25. That's pretty good. First in the division. Okay. The czar of the telestrator was coaching us, Mike Fratello, obviously. So let's check out that team. Let's see who's on that team. All right, let's see. By the way, we scored 110 points a game, and we gave up 102 points a game. So usually that bears out that you're going to win more games than you lose when you give up less than what you score, right? So, who's on that team? John Battle, Antoine Carr, Scott Hastings, Cedric Henderson, John Contract, Cliff Livingston, Mike McGee, Doc Rivers, Tree Rollins, Spud Webb, Dominique Wilkins, Gus Williams, Kevin Willis, Michael Wilson, and Randy Whitman. Interesting team, don't you think? So let's see what, let's see how I'm going to do this. Let's check out John Battle real quick. 1986, all right? 1986 season. Let's see what John did in the playoffs. 1986, 6.6 points a game. That's interesting. Let's see what Antoine Carr did, 1986 playoffs. You had pretty good playoffs, 11 points a game. I'm saying pretty good relatively, but, you know. Let's see what Scott Hastings did. Scott Hastings, 86 season. 1.5 points a game. Let's see. John Contract. Let's see what he did. 1986 season. Playoffs. 2.5 points a game. He did have 3.1 rebounds as well. John Contract. Cliff Levinson. Let's see what Cliff did. Clifford. Let's see what he did. Playoffs. 1986. Let's see what he did. Let's see. 3.1 points a game. Interesting. How many people so far have been in double digits if you're tracking this, okay? Just think about it. Mike McGee. Let's see what he did in the playoffs, the 1986 season for us, for the Atlanta Hawks franchise. 1986, 3.4 points a game in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and skip the Doc Rivers. Doc, must have did pretty good in 86. Doc was one of our better players, obviously, right? You know he could pass the ball, right? 1986 playoffs. Where is it at? 7.8 points. So he did have 11 assists in that playoffs, though. 11 assists he averaged. Really good. 7.8 points a game. Tree Rollins. Let's check out Tree Rollins from Clemson. Playoffs, 1986 season. 4.4 points a game. He did also have 5.9 rebounds a game as well. Okay. 1986 season. Let's go to Spud Webb. Slam dunk champion. 1986 playoffs. Spud, 3.9 points a game. Kevin Willis. Now, you know Kevin had to have a good 86 season in the playoffs, right? Pretty sure he did. One of our better players. 15.7 points, 9 boards a game. Good stuff there. Playoffs, okay. Kevin Willis. Randy Whitman, also, as our shooting guard, had to have had a pretty decent playoffs for us. Remember, we won 57 games that season, right? 1986, he had 16 points a game. So Kevin, Randy Whitman, decent in the playoffs for us, right? Not a lot of people, but those two players helped out. And of course, let's go to Dominique Wilkins last. In the playoffs, 1986 season. Oh, wait, here we go. Playoffs. 26 a game, 7.8 rebounds a game. Now, 1986 season. Now, the 1986 season, the Atlanta Hawks lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals. They were 57-25. They got knocked out in the second round. Now, we know they've always got knocked out in the second round during the Dominique Wilkins era because they never got past the second round. We all know this, right? That's a fact. Can't contest that really, right? Now, here's a point of interest I'm gonna bring up, and I'm only going to do it for this 1 year because since I didn't do any prep, it'll take me a while to do what I was thinking about doing. But again, I just woke up. In that particular playoffs in 1986, as Dominique Wilkins was dropping 26 a game, Dominique Wilkins, where's 86 at? Shot 41% from the field and 30% from the three-point line. He did shoot 89% from the free throw line, though. At 3 turnovers a game. But I'm pretty sure nobody is trying to run Dominique out of the building because he was shooting 41% from the field and 30% from three. Did you know that in his career in the playoffs, Dominique Wilkins shot 42% from the floor and 28% from three? Did anybody know that off the top? As an Atlanta Hawk, all time. Actually, you know what? That was for his playoff career. Actually, he shot 24% from three for his time in Atlanta from three, and 42%. That stayed the same in the playoffs for Atlanta. I forgot. I got to look at career and then Atlanta and then that one season in Boston. Gosh, right? They made the playoffs because I'm only looking at the playoffs right now. Okay, playoffs, right? 8 seasons in the playoffs in Atlanta, 26 points a game. Now, that being said, because somebody talked about this yesterday, Trae Young in the playoffs has only played 27 playoff games, unfortunately, because of circumstances. But Trae Young in the playoffs currently is only shooting 40% from the field and 29% from three in the playoffs so far. But strangely enough, in his third season as an Atlanta Hawk, in his first playoff run, no one was talking about that. As we were beating the Knicks, as we were beating Philadelphia, who was supposed to sweep us, and as we were on the verge of really beating the Milwaukee Bucks until Trae got hurt. No one was saying that as he was averaging 28 and 9.5 assists a game. No one was saying that. They weren't saying it last year against Boston as he was dropping 29 and 10 each game. Almost single-handedly beat Boston himself. No one was talking about that somehow. I'm not sure why not. And of course, you got the Miami series where Coach Spo doesn't let the best player on the team beat you if he can help it. And we had all those injuries. Gallo really couldn't play. Bogey couldn't really play. John shouldn't have even been on the floor. Clint wasn't really available. And Kevin Huerter is dropping 9 points a game that series. Not helping at all. Trae still gave you 15 and 6, though, despite all that. He did have a 24 and 8 game and a 24 and 9 game somewhere in there in that 5-game series. We won game 3. Again, I keep telling people, if Kevin had given us anything, we probably could have won 2 games out of that series. We could have won that series, technically, but that's a whole nother story I don't want to get into. But the reason I bring this up off the top this morning, as I go into other stuff, is going from one drastic aspect of saying, okay, well, Trae Young is the reason that the Hawks can't win because of his defense and his defense alone, and nobody else should have to play defense and play their position. Everybody's absolved from doing their job, to then going, well, let's talk about the playoffs. And I'm like, do y'all know what the other players were doing in the playoffs while Trae was doing what he was doing? If we could have gotten more than 10 points a game from Kevin Huerter, in those playoffs and gotten more from other players in those playoffs, some of those playoffs wouldn't even been as close as they were. And again, we beat Boston straight up last year if we had gotten a little bit more help. DJ did his job, except for the game he got suspended for messing with that ref. Trey, you remember game 5? Trae Young won that game too, right? But if we could just stop the people we needed to stop on the other side, guess what? Trae Young doesn't guard Tatum or Brown. That's not his assignment. Trae Young did his part. He did his part, right? So to go from that extreme to saying, oh, well, this is, again, nobody ever talked about Trae's defense during the ECF run either, by the way. It never came up because that wasn't something that nobody was concerned about. Again, the reality of what actually happens in games is on tape. It's on film. You can't change that, no matter how much CGI and artificial intelligence that you use, right? There's my knee. Give me a second. But then to go from that to the extreme of saying, okay, well, let's look at the playoffs. And I'm like, well, let's look at the playoffs for everybody, right? Let's see. Let's look at this. Because, again, if we're talking about tossing out careers of people, saying that they're trash, you got to do that with everybody, right? So let's see. $13 points and 4 assists. 13 and 4 assists a game. Well, let's make it technical, 4.7. 13 points, 4.7 assists a game. Does that put you over the top with anybody? Does that excite you? Do you feel like you got a good chance to win playoff series with somebody averaging 13 points and 4 assists? I'm asking now. Because that's what Jeff Teague gave the Hawks in the playoffs for his time there. And as I always have said, if we had gotten Teague time all the time, we beat Cleveland. We beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Straight up, we beat them. Either him or Al, one of the two. That being said, and again, I'm doing this with no prep time. I'm just doing this off the rip at 8:15 in the morning because people have said this. So I'm going to pull it up. So our man Al, 11.7 rebounds a game. He did get six defensive rebounds a game, though. He did average a block a game, but 11 points. I've always said in his prime, Al Horford should have been giving us 20 and 10 all the time. Really, 24. Why? Because he could actually drive to the basket. He could hit any jump shot on the floor. He could hit the three. He could hit free throws. He averaged a block a game for his career. He had a 10 rebound season his first season. Well, wait, my bad. This is in the playoffs. So let me go to the regular season just real quick. My fault. So I was right. He had one 10 rebound season. That was 2012. He is one of the only few bigs in the last 15 years to have a 10 rebound season other than outside of Clint, who was brought here to Atlanta. I'm talking about drafted players, and John Collins. That's it. That's the list. Okay. The highest Al score in the season was 18 points. That was the 2013 season. Every season other than that, he was at 15 points or lower. But I've always said if we had gotten, I felt Al Horford should be a 20 and 10 guy. He had all the attributes to do that. But we got 13 points. Wait, Atlanta. 14 points and eight rebounds a game. And in the playoffs, 11 points and 7 rebounds a game. Well, 7.8. So 8, let's give him 11 and 8. That's not going to beat a lot of teams there. We didn't have nobody to get us over the top. We had enough to compete, and that was the limit. Let's just say we had Trae Young on that 60-win team, what would have happened? Okay, just the correlation of it all. Okay, that's just 2 players. That's just Jeff and Al. I can again go across the gambit here. Let's go. I don't know. Let's go random person. Or y'all can give me a name if you want to. I don't know. Let's do this. Did I spell that right? Let's see if I spelled it right. Yes, I did. So let's go current team. Let's see how y'all feel about this. So in our 2020 ECF run, the 2020 season, 10 points, 4 rebounds. Does that give any of you hype? Anybody? Because that's what Hunter gave us in that ECF run. 10 points a game, average. Kevin, in that ECF run, gave us 11 points a game average. He shot 34% from 3. He didn't shoot 40%. He didn't shoot 50%. He shot 34% from 3. The year after that, he gave us 9 points a game in the playoffs. That's the Miami game, the Miami series. 9 points a game, 29% from 3. He wasn't shooting 45% from 3. He was shooting 29% from 3 and giving us 9 points a game in the playoffs. That's what happened. That actually occurred. Okay. So when I speak on the basis of why are you trying to get rid of somebody, why aren't we trying to, again, why don't you look at anybody else? I shouldn't have left it, but well, let me go back. Yeah, it will. So let me click back on this. Now, playoffs. Last year, Hunter had 16 points a game. Now, he was, you know, he got 5 rebounds a game, so that's 1 more rebound than he usually gets. That's good. But in this particular case, we didn't need his scoring as much as we needed him to slow down somebody on the other side. Just one person. Pick one, Tatum or Brown. Brown or Tatum. Pick one, though, because that's his job. He's our primary defender. He's supposed to be our best guy. And as I've always said, like in the Miami series, in the playoffs, he averaged 21 a game. And I've said it since then. After that, we needed 21 a game all the time because he showed he can do it. He averaged 21 points in that series. Checking out his other numbers here. He shot 46% from 3. And we never saw that again, ever. Hunter is a 14-point-a-game career guy for us. 4 rebounds, 1 assist a game, 0.7 steals, 0.3 blocks. In an elimination game against Chicago, he gave us 8 points and 2 boards. Nobody says nothing about that. He gave us 8 points, 2 boards, Let DeRozan get what he wanted. Let White get what he wanted, because there was times where he wasn't guarding White, but White's coming down the lane. He could have knocked the mess out of White, or at least blocked the shot. He just let him go by, like everybody else did. White just was getting layups. Oh, well, Trae Young. No, Trae Young had nothing to do with that. DJ and Bogey was on White the majority of that game. 42 points just don't come out of nowhere. And the worst part of that is, again, nobody doubled him. They just let him hit 25 points, and nobody said, nobody, Hunter, DJ, somebody didn't say, I'm going to stop this. We don't have no defensive pride to say, I'm a stopper, which is what I'll go into next. How do you let people keep scoring when you're supposed to be the guy? How do you let Malachi Flynn drop 50 points? We almost lost that game to Detroit. Look at the Hawks record. Going into the end of the season, and I'm going to go after the 2 wins by Boston, which were great wins, by the way. Sure was. No denying that. A 1-point win, and I forget what the difference was of the other win. But they were great wins. But someone said, well, we gave up 36 points to Tatum and stuff, but we did still win, though. I'm like, that's great, but that win should have been easier if you just don't let Tatum and Brown just kill you. Because if Trae Young ain't on the floor, somebody needs to be stopped. If the premise is that Trae Young is stopping you from playing defense, from doing your job, somehow Trae Young is hindering you from doing your job. If Trae Young ain't on the floor, then people should be getting stopped. That's just logical to me and many other people, right? Oh, this is not what I want. Why do I have this up? This is what happens when you try to do stuff off the fly. I put the wrong word in. I was supposed to put season. Okay, there we go. So at the end of the season, oh, wow, I actually pulled up this time, right off the jump. So after the Celtics wins, we got beat by the Bucks, the Bulls, the Mavericks, the Nuggets, the Heat, all back to back to back to back to back. So after beating the Celtics those 2 times, why are all those other losses happen? And again, squeezed in between there is the win against the Pistons, 121-113. Malachi Flynn dropped 50. That really did happen. He almost didn't miss a shot. Like literally we almost lost basically. Let's see. So take the Pistons game out. We would have lost after the Celtics, that last Celtics win. Oh, they won by 2 points. They won by 2 points and 1 point against the Boston Celtics. And then proceeded to lose against, like I said, the Bucks, the Bulls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would have lost 6 in a row if they hadn't beat the Pistons. Then they also lost against the right after that, the Hornets. Now, that was Trae's first game back at that point, but he was on a minutes restriction, so he didn't play the fourth quarter. When Trae left, the team had a 92-77 point lead. And we lost 115-114. And then proceeded to lose to the Timberwolves and then the Pacers. So again, at the point where the Bulls beat us, the Bulls for the rest of that season went 3-3. The Hawks went 1-6. The Hawks still could have gotten home court advantage for the play-in. Well, Chris, we lost all those games on purpose and stuff. How do you say that when you beat the Celtics by 2 points and 1 point? What are you talking about? We weren't pulling players. You got beat by the Mavs 109-95. Got beat by the Nuggets 142-110, and then you get beat by the Heat in double overtime 117-111. 1 point by the Hornets, 115-114. 3 points by the Wolves, 109-106, and then got blown out by the Pacers. 157 to 115. Clint didn't play that game, but Hunter and DJ was in that game. I think. Wait a minute, let me make sure. Yeah, he was. Bruno was the only one missing in that game. We got blown out 157 to 115. And no, it's not Trey's fault either. Because who was stopping Pascal Siakam from dropping 28 and Miles Turner from dropping 31? Doug McBuckets had 15. TJ McConnell had 17. Tyrese only shot 10 times in that game. DJ was on him. Tyrese wasn't even trying to shoot. He got 13 assists in that game. He didn't need to shoot. But we weren't going to stop Siakam. Hunter had Siakam. Couldn't stop him. Players don't lose games for draft picks. I'm going to keep reminding y'all of that. Draft picks that may or may not work out. They don't do that. How come this is not going backwards? So, again, if Trae Young is, oh, there it is. So if Trae Young is the only reason that the Hawks can't play defense, explain to me how they lost all these other games. Because they should have won all these other games. Against the Bucks, where Giannis had 36, Chris Middleton had 21, Patrick Beverley had 18 points in that game. Explain that if Trae ain't on the floor to hinder anybody from playing defense, Hunter was playing, Clint was playing, DJ was playing. They're supposed to be our best defensive players, right? Well, they should shut these guys down. Against the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan had 31 points. Hunter couldn't stop DeRozan. Hunter had 8 points in that game. Where's the stoppage? Kobe White had 22. Ayo had 15. Andre Drummond had 13 and 18 in that game. Where's the stoppage? We lost that game. Again, the Pistons, Malachi freaking Flynn had 50. Nobody else on the Detroit Pistons did anything. Their starting lineup was, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, Tosan something, had 9. Troy Brown had 6. Jalen Duren had 11. Marcus Sasser had 11. Jaden Ivey had 8. Malachi Flynn had 50 points in 34 minutes. And you mean to tell me Hunter or DJ couldn't stop him? Because they started that game. Trae Young wasn't in that game. Explain it to me. I just want someone to explain that. Dallas Mavericks. PJ had 19. Luka had 25. Kyrie had 26. Trae didn't play that game, so who was hindering Hunter or DJ from stopping a couple of people? It wasn't like they lost that game by a lot. The Nuggets, which is the next game I'm actually about to review on around the ATL side notes. The Nuggets shot 57% from 3. They shot 23 threes in this Nuggets game that I'm reviewing right now. I'm putting it together now. It's a lot of shots. Shots. It's going to take forever. They shot 60% from the floor. Michael Porter Jr. had 20. Joker had 19. KCP had 24. Murray had 16. Peyton Watson had 13. Reggie Jackson had freaking 18 points in that game. Hunter and DJ played, though. Where's the stoppage? 23 threes? You know how hard it is to give up 23 threes in a game? And like I've said in some of the other shows, this Nuggets game bled into the very next game, which was the Heat game, where they lost to the Heat in double overtime, but the Heat shot 40% from 3 and had 18 three-pointers they hit in this game. There was one three-pointer that Bogey gave up that led to going to double overtime. They had won the game, but Bogey not guarding his guy again. Jovic was wide open for a 3, went to double overtime, and they lost it. Jimmy Butler had 25 in that game. Jovic had 23. They couldn't stop Tyler Hero, who had 33 in that game. Hunter and DJ played in that game. If Trae Young is the reason that they can't play defense, why is this happening? They can't stop Tyler Hero? Do I got to play the Tyler Hero song? Lord have mercy. Dado1, what's up, bro? What's your prediction for next season for the Hawks? I don't know right now because I'm still kind of with some hope that we're going to try to do something else still. Because I just can't fathom that we've reached our limits of our offseason. I just don't want to say just yet because I just don't want to say just yet. All right, so I'll say like this. I'll go ahead. I'm not going to give a prediction, but I'm going to give a premonition, I guess. We didn't do anything. So right now, there's no reason to think that we're going to be able to flip our record from 46 losses to 46 wins, which is what we need to at least, at minimum, be able to do. To not be in 10th place in the East, not be fighting for a play-in again. We haven't done anything to do that. We haven't done anything because we didn't address needs like we should have. And we watched as everybody else addressed needs and got all the good people. Like you if you look and see what's left as far as free agents. So now it's like, how are you going to convince somebody to now trade for somebody after they'd have made some really good moves? Now they're going to give up somebody. I mean, right now, I think we got sorry, that's not. You're asking me, I'm telling you now, okay? So again, and if you haven't watched Around the ATL, I do urge you to go to IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube, which is right there. They're scrolling across, and watch some of my previous shows. 3-4 weeks ago, probably last month on our draft show, and after the draft, I said, here's what we should do, okay? We need to go get. Well, first of all, this is when I thought we were actually going to address our center need and get Sarr and/or use the #1 pick and get a couple of picks and maybe get Edie at the very least. Because we can't be a 6'5" team no more. That's our average height. We give up 50 points or more in the paint every game. That's our average. Okay? That's our average. Okay? Clint can't stop nobody in the paint. Nobody is scared of Clint. Everybody gets layups. And he can't play post defense against nobody. Okay? We needed to address that. We didn't. Okay? Doesn't matter if he didn't want to come here. You get him, and then you trade him. We had the #1 pick. He don't have no rights. He ain't nobody. He hasn't played a game. Sorry, that's how it works. The team has control. Doesn't matter what that person wants. You draft him, and if he doesn't want to sign a contract, then you make moves because you have all the power. That's how that works. But only other smart teams do stuff like that, not the Hawks. But anyway, what we should have did was use the #1 pick and gotten a couple of picks, maybe gotten Holland and Edie, okay? Or use the #1 pick and something else and go get KD from the Suns and get him out of purgatory, not playing with a point guard, and bring him to Atlanta. And we could have traded DJ to the Suns and given them a real point guard. They had the worst fourth quarter percentage in the NBA. It was terrible because they didn't have a point guard. Give them DJ and let him run with Booker and Bradley Beal, right? We could have given them Clint, give him a center as well. We could have did something, okay, right? We could have got Drummond, right? We could have tried to get OG. We could have got Hurd. There's a lot of moves. We could have got Caruso. Caruso was available. Didn't get him. The Hawks lost 21 games by 7 points or less last year. So we either needed to score a few more points or stop a few points. Because the people we had One way or the other, couldn't do either or. We couldn't score enough. We couldn't stop enough. Sorry, Hunter ain't the guy to stop nobody. He stops nobody. That Minnesota Timberwolves game, Cat was at the three-point line and drove all the way to the bucket and laid it up on Hunter. That's just one example. I've showed shot for shot all these games to show you what you think is happening ain't happening, because that matters. Who's actually giving up the points? Who's giving up the shot? That actually does matter. I've shown y'all shot for shot, the Chicago game, the Minnesota game, the Pacers game, the Hornets game, and most recently, double overtime against the Heat. I'm going from the last game of the season all the way to the front to see, is it Trey's fault on defense? Because that's what people keep saying. He can't guard a parked car. Okay, well, explain Malachi Flynn. Explain Miles Turner. Look, I think I got this pulled up somewhere still. I'm going to go through this again. Nobody wants to address this. But why? Oh, this is not even the right page here. Okay, I'm going backwards. This can't be right. There we go. Game 79. So again, if Trey is the reason, why don't y'all care that you give up? You let Harrison Barnes get 32 points in a win. Harrison, go look at see what Harrison Barnes is averaging per game, and then why does he have 32 points against us? Explain that. That was a loss. Explain why Anthony Simons had 36 and Ayton had 33 against us. That was a loss. Trey ain't playing. And again, let me throw this in there. JJ didn't play. Okongwu didn't play. And Sadiq Bey also didn't play in that game. See, I went and actually listed who actually was out. See, again, it's not just Trae Young being out. Some of y'all are saying, oh, well, we went 14 and 14 without Trae. No, you went 14 and 14 without multiple players. So are you saying we're better without Jalen Johnson and Okongwu and Trae Young and Sadiq Bey? Because that's what you have to say for every win that you have without those players. But these are losses I'm mentioning. Why did we let D'Angelo Russell have 27 points as the Lakers was beating us? Anthony Davis had 22 points, 15 boards. Braun had 25. Hunter had 8 points in that game, by the way. Lakers beat us 136 to 105. How come Hunter can't stop nobody? Trey ain't out there to stop him from playing ball. That's what the excuse is. You're saying that a man is saying another man is stopping them from playing basketball, from doing their job, from hindering them from playing defense. Well, if he's not out there, then nothing should hinder him from playing defense. That's the logic. That's the answer, right? Pelicans beat us 116 to 103. Utah Jazz, Keontae George had 25. Colin Sexton, Young Bull, had 21. John Collins had 18 and 11. Johnny Juzang had 19 points, was a 7 for 11 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3. If Trae Young wasn't out there messing stuff up, how did that happen? The Nets, we got beat by the Nets twice near the end of the season. February and March. February 29th, 124 to 97. Trey Okongwu didn't play that game. Bridges didn't have a good game. He had 15, but Cam Johnson had 29, and Dennis Schroeder had 23. And then in March 2nd, you lose to the Nets again, 114 to 102. Bridges had 38. Cam had 23. Hunter and DJ were in that game too. Why didn't we stop them? We lost back-to-back against the Nets. I already mentioned the Kings game. Sabonis had 14 points, 21 rebounds in that game. Lost that one. Philly. It's one thing for Joel to have 38. Clint was in that game too, by the way. But why does Maxey have 30? Trey didn't play that game. Again, White had 22 points in the game the Bulls beat us 113 to 101. Drummond had 13 and 18. Why? And then in the game we did win on March 28th against Boston by 1 point, Derek White had 22. He shot 72% from the floor. He shot 83% from three. And you win a game by 1 point and you're ecstatic because Trey wasn't out there? Porzingis had 20. Brown had 18. Tatum had 31. You can't be happy about not stopping. Tatum had 37 in the other game that the Boston Celtics lost to us. Brown had 24. Porzingis had 27. Peyton Pritchard had 15. It matters when you can't stop people regularly. Trey had nothing to do with none of that. He ain't stopping people from not playing defense. They're just not playing defense. That's a personal problem. You don't blame your personal problems on other men. Everybody has a weakness on a team. What you do is you put pieces around the pieces to mitigate those weaknesses and make the strengths better. That's what other teams do. That's what winning teams do. I just read off earlier Dominique Wilkins' 1986 team in the playoffs. Did you hear how many people actually averaged double digits for that 86 season with Dominique Wilkins? Wasn't a lot. Didn't have a lot of help, which is one of the reasons that team never got past the second freaking round. It's not Dominique's fault. And Dominique didn't shoot well. He was never a three-point shooter, but he kept his team in all the games, didn't he? Nobody was trying to run Dominique out of town, though. The organization traded Dominique because they're stupid, right? If they had the ownership like the other legacy teams in the East during that time, Dominique Wilkins would have had some true help, and the Hawks would have a championship, period, point blank. But they made decisions, but nah, these guys here, Scott Hastings and all these other guys, John Contract, this is it. This is the ultimate. This is the best we can do. This is the best we can do. This is it. This is the limit. Coach can actually coach Trey Knight in the game. That's funny too. That's hilarious. We sure did get up from 10th place to 10th place when Trey came back, huh? All that good coaching got us all the way to the 6th spot. Heck, the 7th spot. Heck, the 8th spot. Heck, the 9th spot. No, we stayed in 10th spot the whole time. Because we didn't go 25-3. We didn't go 20-8. We went 14-14, missing 4 players. So the coach can coach without Jalen Johnson in the lineup too, huh? Without Sadiq Bey in the lineup too, huh? Without Okongwu. Oh, let's not forget that Hunter missed his obligatory 30 games this season again too, because he'll never play 70 games in the season if he can help it, right? 5 seasons, he's never played 70 games in an NBA season. Nobody talks about that either, along with the fact he can't stop nobody. Can't stop nobody. Can't stop nobody. Like, seriously, do I got to go through it? I'm not going to go through that again. Just watch the games. Watch the play-in game against the Chicago Bulls. In fact, do I have that? Let's see if I can pull that up real quick. Oh, you know what? Well, I can't because, of course, I've deleted all of those already because I'm on. Let's see if I can pull it up. Right now, I think I have the. Is the Heat game on this one? I don't think he played the Heat game, though. Let's see. I don't think he played. Oh, he did. So let's see. I'm gonna try to do this again, I'm doing this show off the rip, no prep time like Batman. So let's see if I can, I might be able to do this. Give me a moment. I'm trying to figure this out. Why is this screen not changing? There we go. So the Heat game would have been game 79, I believe. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I'm right. Game 79, Heat versus Hawks. All right, I'm right. I'm waking up finally. So is this the first quarter? Let's see. First quarter. So I'm gonna show y'all the first shot. I mean, the seventh shot of the first quarter real quick. What is that? That's not right. All right, I'm gonna have to switch stuff around. So give me a second here. Seventh shot. All right, here we go. So seventh shot, first quarter, and Hunter has Butler on this possession. Garrison has Martin. Hunter, one thing about the Hawks, we don't communicate. Nobody knows what's going on. When I talk about playing basketball on Sunday night basketball videos that I do when I play basketball on Sunday, I couldn't play Sunday. I'm on injured reserve right now because of my knee. When I play basketball, my teammates let me know Chris left, Chris right. That's letting me know someone's trying to pick me either left on the right, okay? Or they say, Chris, you're by yourself. That means I know that whoever I'm guarding right now, usually the only reason they say that is that somebody quicker than me is I'm guarding that person, okay? It's like John Morant. I always use John Morant because he's really fast, right? So if I'm guarding John Morant for some reason off of a switch or a pick or whatever, if they say I'm by myself, I'm making sure I give myself some room so he can't just blow by me. I'm going to dare him to shoot the three. But because of my length, I can still deter that shot, sometimes block it if I'm quick enough. But they also let me know, Chris, we got your switch if he gets by you. Because my team plays like a team. It's 5-on-5. My guys don't just leave me out on the island and vice versa. If some reason my point guard all of a sudden has my center that I'm guarding because maybe I couldn't fight through a pick or whatever happened, I'm not going to let my point guard be on the island by himself and let the center just back him down and score because he's 5'5" and my center is 6'5". Okay, I'm going to come in double. Or if they don't take advantage of the mismatch immediately, we switch back. But that's all communication. Hawks don't communicate. They overhelp. They can't rotate. They don't fight through screen. They don't do any of these things. And I'm talking about primarily who's supposed to be our best players on defense. They definitely don't do any of that. They're always out of position. They're always creating mismatches because of that. It's not Trae Young creating mismatches. They're not targeting Trae Young. The tape shows that. I'm looking at the game. But especially games he's not even in. It's even more apparent. So on this seventh shot of the first quarter, you're going to hear Bob Rathman say something in particular. Definitely pay attention to what he says. But Hunter doesn't call out switch or stay with man in this particular situation. He's decided that no matter what, even though he wasn't actually screened by Butler, he's going to go after Caleb Martin. Butler, who isn't going to stop, goes straight to the basket for an alley-oop. Now, in the real basketball world, I wouldn't have let this happen, okay? Because this is just basketball at a certain point. I'm always going to keep telling people, basketball is basketball no matter the money. But especially since the money is involved, you just got to be better on the basics of fundamental basketball. And because we don't have a coach coaching staff on the defensive side of the court, for some reason we don't have it. We don't have a big man coach. And I'm going to show you why I talked about the big man coach in one of these shots. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. But let's watch the 7 shot, first quarter.
Again, that's how you get them back, just 2 at a time. You know, get them back on their heels.
Lob to Butler for the jam. Again, the Heat getting behind the Hawks defense.
We'll show that one more time.
Again, that's how you get them back, just 2 at a time. You know, get them back on their heels.
Lob to Butler for the jam. Again, the Heat getting behind the Hawks defense.
There's no excuse for that. And the other thing we don't do, we don't ever have no help defense. There's so many times people just let people lay the ball up. This Heat game shows that more than anything. There's times where players just move out the way. Like people are coming down the lane and you watch Hawks players just kind of I'm not going through the whole game. If you want, you can watch around the ATL side notes, game 79, Heat versus Hawks, and you can watch the full breakdown. I'm only going to pick out a couple from that because I still have it. I hadn't deleted them yet for the next game. I'm going to try to see if I can show y'all on the big man side why I say we don't have a big man coach. Let's see. Here's one. Second shot, first quarter.
Jimmy gives it up. Jovic to Martin. Bam for 3. And he hits it.
Explain to me what Clint was doing that whole possession. Explain it to me. Because I can explain it to you. Jimmy gets around Hunter. Bogey, who is also not guarding his man, stops the ball. Jimmy passes to Jovic. Jovic passes to Martin. Martin drives on Bogey. Clint, who has been standing in the paint the whole time, Bam is over here. Clint has his back turned to his man, 40 feet away, basically, the whole possession. I'm going to play it again.
Jimmy gives it up. Jovic to Martin. Bam for 3. And he hits it.
Clint doesn't even come out to contest. He just watches that ball go into the hoop. It happened in the Charlotte game against Grant Williams. He was guarding Grant Williams. Grant Williams is the Hornets center. Grant Williams had 16 points in that game. I think he missed 2 shots the whole game, hit 2 or 3 from 3. And he just let Grant Williams do whatever he wanted. I can't show that because I already deleted it. What's up, Francis? Good morning. Don't think Hawks team needs us to be fans. This organization is a mess. We had the #1 pick and we messed it up. I mean, again, it remains to be seen how ZR will work. But it has to work. I mean, he has to come in. Like he literally has to come in the starting lineup. First of all, he can't start the season in G League. That would be just an unmitigated disaster. It just would. And he has to come in, and I'm sorry, he kind of has to come in and drop at least 15 a game right off the jump. He kind of has to, at least 15. He's a #1 pick. Or are we going to just be satisfied with a Marvin Williams career? Are we going to be cool with that? Right? Right? Or 14 points a game for his career, like Hunter. We're going to be cool with that. Or 12 points a game for their career, like Kevin Huerter. We're going to just be cool with that? I mean, here's another example on the big man side. This is Bruno. 10th shot of the same quarter. Tyler Hero has the ball. Kobe has him. Love sets a pick. Kobe goes through it. Kobe gets through the pick, but despite that, no matter what, Bruno is going to overhelp on Tyler and leave Love wide open for another 3. The Miami Heat hit 40% from 3, hit 18 threes in this game. 10th shot, first quarter.
who can just create a shot. He shoots that high fadeaway jump shot, hard to get to.
Kevin Love for three.
Kevin Love for three. Bruno didn't come out to contest. Bruno overhelps. Bruno leaves his man wide freaking open. The reason that the Pacers scored 157 points on the Hawks, that's what Bruno did against the Pacers that whole game. Miles Turner was never guarded by Bruno most of that game, even though Bruno, that was his man. But Bruno left his man while there was a couple of times Trey had to get on Siakam or Turner because Hunter and Bruno wasn't on their man. Trae Young can't block a 7-footer shooting a three-pointer. That's just stupid to expect that. That's stupid. STOOPID. Bruno at least has a chance because he has wingspan. Hunter can at least get in Siakam's face. But no, y'all accept this nonsense. Let me show y'all why the game went into double overtime. Because here's the deal. And shout out to DJ. DJ got the game to overtime because Miami had the game won, and then DJ came down and got the game tied to go into overtime in the first place. But the Hawks won the game in the first overtime. But the reason that it went to double overtime, I'm gonna show y'all. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I really need to go now. It was the second shot of OT number 1. So let me see. So Jovic brings the ball up on Vit. Murray has Tyler. Clint has Bam. Hunter has Jimmy. Who does Bogey have in this possession? Jovic drives and passes to a wide open Highsmith, who does what? He hits another three. Remember, this team, the Miami Heat, hit 18 threes one game after the Denver Nuggets hit 23 three-pointers on the Hawks. And this is why I keep saying, who's watching video? Because how do you not have no adjustments from game to game to game? How does the same stuff keep hurting us? And how does it happen without Trey on the floor? If that's your excuse. It shouldn't happen. But watch this.
Jovic kicks. Highsmith from the wing ties the game with a three. Oh, my.
Did you hear Dominique? Oh, my. Highsmith was wide open. Why? The Bogey wasn't on his man. There's so many times that Bogey is in the paint, ball watching, back turned to his guy. He's 15 feet away, and Bogey's having to run. Then he doesn't jump to contest, and then shrugs his shoulders, and he's all like this and stuff, like has an expectation that somebody else is supposed to do something. No, Bogey, sorry, that was your guy. Want to see double overtime? Let me show y'all the second shot of double overtime real quick.
111 to 107. Now the Hawks are up against it. Hero. Highsmith, Miami by 6.
Who did Highsmith get that layup on? Let me play it again. Uh-oh.
111 to 107. Now the Hawks are up against it. Hero. Highsmith, Miami by 6.
Y'all seen that Instagram meme where the news reporter comes out because somebody had spray painted a car or something, and he comes out and somebody got the music playing, and he's talking about, I don't know who you are or where you are. That's what I want to do right now, because I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out, how are y'all trying to absolve DeAndre Hunter from doing his job, and the man just backed away? You're in double overtime. You're at home. And what does Hunter do? That's yours, guy. That's yours. My guy, that's your layup. There you go. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to foul you. I'm not going to try to block the shot. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just let you do what you do. Just do what you do. Oh, I'll show you their very next shot.
Hero jumps it over to Adebayo. Jovic, he will reverse and hit.
Oh, he's had a heck of a game.
Oh boy, I'm not. You saw it again. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh, this is even worse. I'll show you all the last field goal.
Hawks come up empty, and they're going to try to foul Butler here, I believe, or Adebayo, somebody. Nope, they're just going to play it out. Highsmith gets it done.
I was like, well, I guess the Hawks are going to try to foul and get some free throws and see if we can still do something. No, we didn't gave up. And the Heat are like, well, they're supposed to be fouling us, coach, but since they ain't, let's go ahead and score. Trae Young ain't out there for none of that. The Atlanta Hawks were 26th in blocks for 2023. They were 28th in fast breaks given up. They were 16th in steals. They were 12th in second chance points, but that's mostly because everybody scored in the paint. They didn't miss a lot. They gave up 14 threes a game for the season, average. They hit 18 in this game. They hit 23 in the game before that. They gave up 42% from three in the play-in game. They gave up 52. They gave up 52% from three in the last game of the season against the Pacers. '25th in points in the paint given up. Only the Raptors, Pistons, Spurs, Wizards, and Pacers were worse. They were dead last. Pacers were dead last, but they score 130 points a game to mitigate that. See, when you have a weakness, you do something else to mitigate that weakness. They just outscored everybody. They said, I dare you to miss a shot. We ain't going to play no defense, but can you outscore us? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hawks scored 118 points and gave up 120 points. And we had no depth. We were missing 4 players. There's no way you can win like that. The record showed that. But this really showed it. 28th in fast break points. Nobody gets back on defense. 26 in blocks. We don't stop nobody. Anybody can get a layup. Anybody can get it. I just showed y'all a couple of plays. Hunter ain't stop nobody. Let me see if I can show y'all some others. Let me show y'all something drastic here. Okay. What quarter is this? This is the second quarter. Six shots, second quarter. Check this out. See what y'all say about this. What's your opinion of this made shot by the Miami Heat? 6 shots.
Outstanding in his first rotation, had 10. DeLon, he'll drive and score.
You know what? There was, I believe, was that DeLon Wright? Let me see. Let me see if that was DeLon Wright. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, that was DeLon Wright. Let me show y'all that again.
Outstanding in his first rotation, had 10. DeLon, he'll drive and score.
Let me show you the next shot.
Before the game. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Had a chance to talk to him a minute.
DeLon gets it up and in.
That's Murray's guy. That's Murray. That's DeLon Wright. Second layup in a row. Here's the next shot.
It remains a 6-point spread in favor of the Heat. DeLon Wright. Boy, feeling good tonight. Getting back at the Hawks. He's got 7.
That's 3 shots in a row. What are we talking about, people? How is that excusable? That's okay? That's okay for y'all. That's cool. That's DeLon freaking Wright. Scoring left and right. Here's the very next shot. I'm just going shot for shot here.
Jimmy pivots. Banks it, hits.
Jimmy Buckets does it again. Nice little.
Jimmy Buckets does it again on Clint in that case. Here's the very next shot.
Tyler Hero came off the bench at Indiana Sunday, starting today, had 21 against the Pacers. Butler on the block, kicks it back, Bam, banks it in.
Stop it.
I know it was a bank, but it did go in. Here's the very next shot after that.
Hero on the curl, off the screen, drops it in, and a foul on Atlanta.
Well, Tyler Hero has come alive, 15 points.
Butler on the bounce. Hero's pass deflected, but it ends up in Jovic's hands, and he hits a three.
Jovic had 23 points in that game. Bogey left him open again, didn't he? Oh, here's a perfect one. Second shot, third quarter. Let me scroll down a little bit, make sure I find it.
Against Capella. And drops it in.
Well, Bam over there.
So y'all trying to convince me that, Christ's sake. I'm going to play it again.
Against Capella. And drops it in.
Well, Bam over there.
Bogey. Tyler Hero.
Man.
Did Hunter jump to contest that shot? Or did he just slide over with his hand kind of up, kind of already absolved? This is going in. No big deal. I'm getting paid. Paid in full. Fourth shot, third quarter.
Hawks have stayed within striking distance. Jovic rattles home another three. That's his third of the night.
So I'm not going to do any more because I've already done this. I've already done the Heat game. I don't really want to do any more because I'm getting mad now. My blood pressure's getting up. My whole point is people need to do their jobs for 48 doggone minutes. I'm trying not to cuss because I'm getting mad again. How is this acceptable? How are people accepting that and all the other games with the excuse, well, it's Trey's fault, but Trey's not out there and they're still scoring on you? There should be 0 points. 0. People are not getting slowed down. People missing shots ain't defense. You stopping somebody from shooting the ball is defense. You deterring a shot is defense. We don't even contest shots. Bam, laying the ball up on Clint. People were laying the ball up on Hunter. DeLon Wright had 2 layups in 3 straight possessions, and nobody stopped him. That's not acceptable, doggone it. People ain't doing their jobs. If people had been doing their jobs the whole season, the Hawks would have 46+ wins. We'd be in the Eastern Conference Finals because we do have Trae Young on our team. With a semblance of a team, we can do stuff. Without a semblance of the team, you have that Heat series. Everybody was hurt. Damaged goods. Shouldn't have been on the floor. You had Hunter getting 21 a game and then nothing else. It's not enough. Just like Dominique Wilkins didn't have enough, shooting 41% from the floor and 24% from 3. But Dominique Wilkins kept that team in the game, though. He just didn't have enough help to get over legacy teams, the Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls, Pistons. The Bucks were out there doing stuff. The Cavs were out there doing stuff. One player has never been on the court by themselves playing 5 other people. Trae Young is not supposed to guard the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and the center. That's absurd. To keep saying it out loud. Oh, well, it's Trae Young's fault. Nobody, he can't guard nobody. Trae Young ain't the best defender, but he's definitely not the worst. I'm going to continue to show you these games. People are getting wide open shots and layups with Trae or without Trae. All you got to do is watch the games. The games tell on you that you're not watching games. You just see the box score scrolling across just like this. You just see the box score. You make an assumption, but you didn't watch the game. You didn't watch how Kobe White scored 42 points. You just made an assumption that was Trae. It's not. It's disgusting how he got those 42 points. You watch the game. But then, how do you absolve Vucevic getting 24 himself? The first 2 shots of the play-in game is Vucevic getting layups on Clint Capella. The times that Hunter left DeRozan wide open, or the times that he's one-on-one with DeRozan, what does Trae Young got to do with Hunter stopping DeRozan one-on-one? Nothing. He's not hindering. Trae's on the other side with Io. Io is standing there watching DeRozan get ready to do his mid-range. What does that got to do with Trae Young? Nothing. It's easy to say stuff out loud until you actually have to prove it. I like to prove stuff. I like to have facts to back up stuff that I say. I don't just say stuff randomly. I take the time to go shot for shot. NBA.com, anybody can do it. Anybody can get the information. It's there. I'm showing you what actually happened in the game. I'm not dictating anything different than what actually happened in the game. And it's sad. Because if you don't have the players who realize what they're doing and the coaches don't care, then just like who said it earlier? Dido won, bad front office. But that goes back to the owner again, who don't care. He's worth $11 billion. The team is worth $3.3 billion. And we have 16,558 people who buy tickets each game because they want a swag search and listen to Jeezy at halftime or 2 Chainz. I can't be a season ticket holder no more. I did the last 2 years. I can't do it no more. I can't keep giving them my money. You don't want to put a competing team together, a competitive team. You don't want to do it. I can watch on Bally's, doggone it, or whatever network ends up getting them now. Hopefully it's not bootleg. I'll listen to 929 The Game and listen to Steve Homer and Mike Conti. Some of y'all don't know who that is. But a lot of people don't watch games. A lot of people don't go to games personally because you can't say these things and say you actually watched the game. There's just no way you can do it. I'm proving it to you. Do you want me to play one more? I'll play one more, and I'm gonna try to get out of here. There was another one that made me mad. I'm trying to figure out what that was. All of these made me mad, but there was one that really made me mad. JJ had left the game. He didn't come back. Is this the one? Oh, yeah. 7th shot. Again, the Hawks have no defensive discipline, which is one of my biggest complaints about everything. That goes to not having a defensive coach. Defense is part effort and part knowledge. You're supposed to know where you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to be, know how to not overhelp, how to hedge. Like, some of this stuff is basic, but you also have to talk it out, and nobody helps nobody. Again, people are really selfish. You would rather let Kobe Buffkin try to defend the best player in the NBA Anthony Edwards. That's what he says, right? He's the number one option in the Olympics, guys. But in a one-point game, 2 straight possessions, we let Kobe Buffkin try to stop Ant-Man. Nobody doubled, and neither Hunter or DJ came over to help. I wish I had saved those 2 clips, but go watch Around the ATL Side Notes is game, let's see, 82, 81, game 80. Go watch that. If you go to Around the IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube right there, subscribe to the page, please, and then go to Around the ATL Side Notes, game 80. That's against Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay. Is that right? That doesn't sound right for some reason. 82. Game 81, my bad. So go watch that. And the last 2 shots is Anthony Edwards backing down Kobe Buffkin. The first time, Kumo G could have doubled, but he's just kind of back. He's indecisive. He doesn't know. And like the coach, you don't have no motions from the coach being like, double him, get the ball out of his hands so he doesn't beat us. He's their best player. But nope, he takes a turnaround jumper and hits it. And then the last shot that Minnesota hits in the game, because the rest of it was free throws, on the other side of the box, he backs Kobe in, and he takes another turnaround fadeaway and hits it again. This time, Garrison was there. He could have doubled. Garrison was actually defensive 5 seconds or whatever, because his man was at the 3-point line. Garrison was just standing there in the paint. He was just standing there. I should pull it up, but I need y'all to just go watch it. But Garrison doesn't double him. He just left Kobe on an island. And neither Hunter or DJ said, you know what? No, I'm taking this responsibility. I ain't letting them score because this is a 1-point game. We can win this game. But no, we lost that game 109 to 106 because of those 2 shots. Or we can say, heck, Rudy Gobert couldn't be stopped. He was looking like Hakeem Olajuwon out there. He had 25 and 19 in that game. What are we talking about? Clint couldn't stop him? What are we talking about? If Trey is the reason and the only reason, then all the other games, all this should be impossible to happen. And I'm sorry, it's the opposite. I'm sorry, but it's the opposite. People just ain't doing their jobs all the time. And it's your job to play basketball all the time. It's your job to defend people all the time. That's not just a part-time deal. You have an assignment, okay, cool, but sometimes people miss an assignment. Sometimes people just get beat. I just showed y'all that, and you still have people laying it up. Murray just let DeRon Wright lay it up. Hunter just let that dude lay it up on him. Wide open threes. Just let it happen, and it's acceptable. Not even contesting the shot. Just watching the ball go into the hoop. That's not defense, is it? Nobody talking, nobody switching. Again, if I get beat, I got somebody behind me who's going to come up, and then everybody else has to rotate. That's what we do. That's not what the Hawks do, though. That's something that you got to teach and coach. It's great if you had the players who already know how to do it, but if not, somebody got to teach it. Someone has to coach it. Somebody has to demand to make it happen. And then if it still doesn't happen, then you got to make decisions based off of that. But we can't even do that as an organization. We just let this go for years now. I've been saying this from the start. I have articles, and from my radio show when I first started, I was talking about that. I was like, we played just a semblance of defense. Trae Young's first 2 seasons, we would have made the playoffs first 2 seasons. Scoring was never our problem. We couldn't stop nobody. Whole team. Kevin Huerter never stopped nobody. My God. Hunter has never been on first or second team all defense. He's never got no defensive player of the year votes. We needed to get one of those players on the Hawks somebody who's a defensive player of the year candidate, somebody who's first, second team all defense all the time, not just when it suits them, not just when, now that Trey ain't playing, I can play harder now. And, no, we don't need that. I mean, it's almost 10 o'clock. I got to go. They just fall. So Hawks don't hold nobody accountable. Now, that's correct. That is true. Can't win like that. That's correct. It's not about following the leader, Trae Young, though. Again, Trae Young ain't the best defender. That's not what he's getting paid to do, though. That's not his job. Herb is not out there to score points. Herb is out there to play defense. Lou Dort ain't out there to score points. He can score some points, but his job is to lock down people. Caruso, he can score some points, but he's out there to defend people. You can tell they want to do it. That's their job. They know that's their job. They take pride in that. Just like Michael Jordan, how long did it take him to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? His job, he played defense though. Now he's an enigma because he was a defensive player of the year. He leads the league in steals and blocks as a guard and all this kind of stuff. But then he got Scottie Pippen on his team. And Scottie Pippen stopped a lot of foolishness that was happening on that Bulls team, didn't he? By himself, right? When you put pieces together around a good player, you win games. When you don't win games. The Chicago Bulls, those Jordan teams at the beginning, show you. When did Jordan get drafted? Anybody know off the top of your head? Was it around 84 or somewhere in there? 85? 30 and 52, 40 and 42, 38 and 44. Those don't sound like good records to me. But here it goes. 50 and 32, lost in the Eastern Conference semis. 47 and 35, lost in the Eastern Conference finals. 55 and 27, lost in the Eastern Conference finals. Took Jordan a while to get to that point of winning on a regular basis. Didn't it? It's not happenstance. It's a matter of building the team the right way. Bulls did it. Spurs did it. Lakers, Celtics, Pistons. Pistons have 3 championships, don't they? One with a completely different team. And they said, we're going to build a team of defenders. And it works. Doesn't work all the time, but it worked that time. They got a championship ring to prove it, don't they? But the Portland Trailblazers don't. The Clyde Drexler Portland Trailblazers with Terry Porter and Cliff Robinson and all those guys. They were that close, though. Seattle Supersonics, Rain Man, Gary Payton. GP didn't win it, though. Guess who they had to go up against? Utah Jazz. Nobody in the Western Conference can beat those guys. They happen to go up against the Bulls. They could have been 2-time world champions, though, too, right? The Hawks haven't come close to putting a well-built team together, though. We have 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances to show for 56 years of Atlanta Hawks basketball. And for the last 6 years, we have a whole bunch of misses more than we do hits, as opposed to all the other teams that have won and gotten to the championship and won a championship in the last 6 seasons. Western Conference, Eastern Conference appearances in the last 6 seasons. the last 10 seasons, the last 12 seasons, the last 15 seasons. And look at our rosters and look at everybody else's rosters. The Dallas Mavericks were the 5th seed in the West. They got PJ and Gafford to help with their non-defensive selves. Their defense got better enough to get to the Western Conference Finals. They won, and they got to the finals. They won the Western Conference doing that. But they went up against the wrong team. A team that has defensive discipline, basically saying, we ain't going to overhelp and let you do what you usually do, Luka, Kyrie. Y'all ain't going to be dunking on us. Wide open threes? No, because we just going to go one-on-one on all of y'all. And the Boston Celtics built themselves up to do that. They made the move. They made the moves, plural, year after year after year. They have the Eastern Conference Finals appearances to prove that, and 2 appearances in the finals with 1 victory to prove that. What have the Hawks done in that same period of time? Not enough. That's the problem. In Trey's 3rd season, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals. That really happened. And we didn't follow up on that. And your owner admitted as such. Yes, it's my fault. It's my mistake that I decided not to do anything in the offseason. And here it is, 2 more off seasons after that, and we haven't done anything. We have a center that can't hit a jump shot or a layup and stop anybody. Still. Clint Capella might be the only center in NBA history to not shoot a 3. Even Shaq has 1 3-point attempt. But see, Shaq was dominant. He didn't need to take no threes. Nobody can stop him. Clint can't say that. He needs to be able to hit a 10-foot jumper sometimes. Or at least hit 75% from the free throw line. My God. He can't even do that. He can't shoot a 3, 17-foot jumper, 15-foot jumper, 10-foot shot, 0 to 5 feet from the hoop. He shoots 60%. He's a center, and he can't do nothing else. He needs to be shooting 75% from 0 to 5 feet out. Oh, I can show that real quick. I do still have that. Here's what I mean. Here's a difference. Here's 2 players. Oh, did I delete it? No. Oh gosh, did I? Let me see. I didn't. So I'm gonna just show y'all this real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of here because now it's almost been 2 hours. Let me check my texts. I told y'all I didn't prep for this show. I just woke up. Okay, here we go. So watch this. This is what I'm talking about here. What would y'all prefer? I'm not going to say nothing while I'm about to play. But I'm going to play everything and not say nothing. I'm going to go all the way through, and you tell me what's better. Okay? So here we go. Hopefully I can do this. You know what? Let me fix this real quick before I do this because I get out of order. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go.
Nobody's benefited more from playing with Tyrese than Miles Turner. He's been able to put him in position to make plays, catch the ball, giving him confidence.
Murray again, too strong off the glass. Capella, and they gain rebound, and Halliburton tiptoes along the end line. Yeah, good to see Bruce Brown out there again. Andrew Nembhard missing his 2nd consecutive game out due to injury. He was in the starting lineup as the Pacers started this win streak. That's a miss by Capella, rebounded by Turner.
This is where the psychology comes in. You want to make sure that Toppin gets rewarded for the fact that he played well.
Bay misses, rebound, there's Capella, and he missed it again, and that's Pacers ball.
Enough to freeze the defense.
Had missed 5 straight games with a right knee bone bruise. Had 15 points the other night against Milwaukee. That's a blocked shot. These are 2 teams that average better than 14 made threes per game. Turner again in the center of the floor. Goes inside against Bay. And a foul. Again, the Pacers had great balance. They had 4 starters in double figures. Jalen Smith was one of those with 11.
Halliburton was the only starter not in double figures as Turner starts with a jump shot. Trent Forrest is in for Atlanta. Also, Bogdan Bogdanovic. As Turner's jump shot good, Pacers lead by 5.
I can't tell you how good that pass is. Capella, that's how he makes his living. But you got to be ready to shoot that.
Halliburton gets in, finds Turner, and Turner lays it in.
So, what do y'all prefer? Anybody? But that's okay, though. That is okay. It's cool. No big deal. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't play into wins and losses. Doesn't matter. What I just watched, that was the second game, by the way, that the Indiana Pacers scored 150 points on the Hawks. Happened twice this season. Twice. Put 150 points. One player doesn't give up 150 points. Two players don't give up 150 points. Three players don't give up 150 points. You need like 8 players to give up 150 points. In 48 minutes. So to continue to absolve everybody else from doing their job and just put it on Trae Young, you just hate Trae Young. And that's fine. Just say it. Just admit it and say, I hate Trae Young with my heart, with the insides, my soul. Because then everybody knows, okay, that's just what it is. You just hate Trae Young. It don't have nothing to do with basketball. Because we're just talking basketball, you should be hateful for all the other Atlanta Hawks on the team that haven't been doing their job, either offensively or defensively for that matter. You're supposed to be a shot maker and you're not hitting those shots. You're supposed to be able to hit all the layups. You're not hitting your layups. You're supposed to be hitting the threes. You're not hitting your threes. And if it's on defense, you're the guard. You got to stop the other guard. The shooting guards average 30 points against the Hawks. Why is that on Trae Young? He doesn't guard the shooting guard. He doesn't guard the primary scorer on the other team. That's not his job. Small forwards average 27 points against the Hawks this season. Why is that on Trae Young? Why is Trae Young and only Trae Young supposed to play the other 5 players and the other 4 players on the Hawks don't got to play nobody? I want someone to explain that to me. Nobody will. Because there is no explanation for that. You just hate Trae Young and you don't care that nobody else is not doing their job. You just don't care because you hate Trae Young. Everybody not doing their job don't fit your narrative that Trae is a bad player, that he's the worst player ever, the only player that's getting 25 and 10 in Atlanta Hawks history. Currently, he's 4th in NBA history in assists per game. He's led the NBA in assists 2 out of the last 3 years. He would have led 3 years in a row if he hadn't gotten hurt. He still ended up 8th in assists this year, injured. He's trying to pass the ball to people. We just need a few better players on our team. Trae Young wouldn't score as much if we had better scorers on our team. If Hunter was a 20-point guy, he could be. I've said it from the get-go, and I have 2 shows on Hunter. Number 4 draft pick. He could do all those things, and he just doesn't. That's a problem. And then he don't play all the time. That's a problem. Why isn't it a problem for y'all? Just because you hate Trae Young? You just don't care that he averages 14 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, doesn't stop nobody? Hunter should be getting Scotty Barnes numbers, 19 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, a steal and a half a game, a block a game. Scotty Barnes did that in his 3rd season. How come Hunter hasn't done it? That don't got nothing to do with Trae Young. That's effort. Rebounds is effort, blocking out. How many times do you see Hunter block out in a game? He had 2 rebounds in the play-in game, an elimination game. He had 2 rebounds, 8 points. And y'all don't care about that? Y'all don't care about that. You only care about Trae Young and his supposed defensive liabilities, and that's hurting the team. That's losing games. I've shown y'all it's not true. I've shown y'all point blank. How do you explain the Charlotte Hornets beating the Hawks 115-114 when Trey didn't play the whole fourth quarter? He was on the minutes restriction, his first game back. The Hawks blew that lead. How do you explain that? The Heat beat the Hawks double overtime. Trey didn't play. Double overtime? DJ and Hunter were playing. Those are y'all's guys, supposedly, some of y'all. For some of y'all. The game I'm working on now, the Denver Nuggets, blew out the Hawks. Gave up 23 three-pointers in a game, a regulation game. Shot 56%. And that's okay? How is that okay? And we lost that game too. How is that acceptable? Someone is blaming Trey, they don't know basketball. It's not even about knowing basketball at a certain point. It's just that you just don't care about the team because you just hate Trey Young. But nobody hated Jeff Teague. Nobody hated Kirk Heinrich. Didn't hate DeMar Johnson. You didn't hate Doug Edwards. You didn't hate all these other players who didn't do anything in Hawks history. And they didn't win. If that's the other criteria. But Trey at least got you there. Trey gives you a chance. But Trey, just like all the other players, Bron went to 3 freaking different teams, having teams built around him to win his championships. Played with Cleveland twice. Took Cleveland 13 years to get their championship. Drafting LeBron James, #1. Took him 13 years to get it, though. 13 seasons. Toronto Raptors went and got Kawhi Leonard, won them a championship. Other teams make moves. The Hawks just say, we're good. Bro, what do you think about? I already said get Drummond, you get Pat Bev, you get OG, and you get Caruso. When Caruso was gone, I said, well, try to get Herb. We couldn't get OG, try to get Dort. But I said you go get Drummond, you get Pat Bev, because see, Pat Bev is somebody who's gotten some first team, second team, all defense, some defensive player of the year votes. And if anything, he's going to be vocal. How come you didn't get back on defense? How come you didn't fight through that screen? Slap. Choke. Right? We don't have that. Caruso knows what he's doing on defense. OG knows what he's doing on defense. We needed some of those players. Drummond, size. We don't have no size. We had to address size this year, and we just said, no, we're going to just stay small forever. We're going to let all these other teams be 7'10", 7'10", plus your wingspan. All of them can shoot. No, we're good with Clint. And I like Okongwu, but he's 6'8". He can play the post defense, but if somebody decides to shoot a jumper over him, he can't stop it. He can't do nothing about a jumper. Now, if somebody wants to try to post up and all that, he can deny people their spots, and he can make it rough for them. But if somebody decides to shoot a straight-up jumper, he can't stop that at all. He doesn't have the wingspan. He doesn't have the height. Clint, of course, can't stop nobody. Vucevic had 24 points in that elimination game against the Hawks. And it pretty much all on Clint. Layups, mostly. And wide open threes, because, again, Clint can't, he doesn't want to play the position. He doesn't want to do it. But Drew Skrilla is correct. Nobody is held accountable. The players themselves don't hold themselves accountable. Take it personal. See, when I play basketball, there was one game, this was 2 months ago, and I got to the gym late. So, because usually I play in the first game, and then I see how I feel, and I go from there. But there was this team, the team that was out there, and the team that was winning, they had this guy who was kind of like Jalen Johnson. He was big, strong kid, whatever, fast. Didn't really have a jumper, though. But he was getting all the rebounds, and he was just getting in the post and just laying it up, basically, on the other team. And now we played twos and ones instead of threes and twos on points. Okay. So he had like 7 points himself, and we're only going to 12. All right. So I said when I got picked up, I said I'll stick him because I'm not going to let him be the reason we get beat. He scored 1 point. Because I said, I'm not going to let you get the ball. You're not going to post up on me. I'm moving you out the way. You're not bigger than me. I'm stronger than you. And on the perimeter, I'm going to dare you to shoot it. Let's see if you hit it. Because I'm not going to let you get by me either. He scored 1 point. Because I wasn't going to let it happen. See, that's me taking pride in my job. That's my job. Whoever I'm defending, they're not scoring. We don't have that on the Hawks. We don't. We don't have it. It ain't Hunter. It ain't DJ. Well, DJ's gone, but it wasn't DJ. And it's not Hunter. Oh, well, DJ played good on the Spurs. No, that was Derek White. Derek White was the lockdown guy. Murray was able to spring around and do this and do that and get some good steals and stuff like that, and that's fine. But he wasn't a primary one-on-one defender in Spurs land either. And his is purely based off of motivation. I just showed you that in the Miami game. He couldn't stop DeLon freaking White. That was his guy. 3 straight shots? I showed y'all that. I didn't make that up. That was 3 straight shots in the same damn quarter. See, I'm cussed. I'm mad now. My blood pressure. I need to stop because my blood pressure is going up. Plus, I got some stuff that I gotta do. So, again, I just didn't plan this show. I didn't title it or anything because I just said I just want to go with the flow kind of a deal. But kind of going by some posts that I saw yesterday. Dominique Wilkins in the playoffs, not a great shooter, just like Trae Young. But nobody looks at that. No one looks at Allen Iverson's shooting percentage. Look at Carmelo Anthony. Kobe does put up a lot of shots too sometimes, don't he? Didn't he? Rest in peace. Kobe. Sometimes there's 4 people on him. He's still shooting it. It's a matter of getting to the end result. Look at what did Kobe do after that last championship? What did the Lakers put around Kobe after that last championship? Did he ever win again? No. Look at his record. What have the Lakers done with Bron the last couple of years since their championship? And that's LeBron freaking James. And they've had Anthony Davis. What have they done since that championship? One player can't lose or win a game. You need multiple players to be able to do it consistently. Consistently, because that's what you want, right? Consistency, right? So whether it be the Miami Heat, right, or the Milwaukee Bucks, right, it's draft, free agency, and trades. What are the 5 things that you need to be consistent winners? You got to have an owner that actually wants to win and does what's necessary to win. You have to have a management team that knows what they're doing and make correct decisions on a regular basis, not just one and done. You need a good to great coach, you need good to great players, and you have to be healthy. Hawks was missing 4 players this year at one point, all at the same time for games on end. Plus Hunter for his games. That's 5 players we were missing. And the year before, we didn't do anything to put people on this team to mitigate any injuries. We had no depth. Remember, we didn't replace John's production. You didn't replace Sadiq Bey or Jalen Johnson from coming off the bench to starting this year. You didn't do that. Garrison Matthews averaged 5 points a game, 6 points a game or whatever. Vitt, what did he average? And he wasn't even here at first. Like Trent Forrest, we demanded Trent Forrest got to stay on this team, and he didn't even play on the play-in game. Vitt should have played to where we could maybe have stopped White a little bit. Put Vitt on White. Do y'all think Vitt would have allowed 12 more points after he had 30 if we had put Vitt on White? Because nobody else could stop him. DJ couldn't stop him. Hunter couldn't stop him. Bowie couldn't stop him. Clint couldn't stop him. But Vitt being in the game could have helped us a little bit. or maybe at least a little bit of scoring, since Hunter was the only one in our starting lineup that didn't score double digits. Everybody else was in their 20s. Hunter had 8. Y'all cool with that? You're in the game. You're in the game. You got to play. We need more. And for whatever reason, our owner, who has $11 billion with a team that's worth $3.3 billion, has chosen not to do anything. It's a choice. Choice is powerful. Choice dictates everything. We see the Boston Celtics spend the money. See the Clippers, they at least tried. They spent the money. At one point, they had James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, and PG-13 on the same doggone team. They tried. Didn't work out. But at least they tried. Some Hall of Fame players sometimes don't work out. But at least they tried. Hawks won't even try. Hawks won't even make a fair attempt. The Atlanta Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals with the team I just listed, with what they did in the playoffs, in addition to what Trey was doing in that same playoffs. In fact, I'll do that. I will do that before I go, if I can find it. Let me see. 32 points, 10 assists, 30 points, 7 assists, 21 points, 14 assists, 27 points, 9 assists, 36 points, 9 assists. That was game 5, an elimination game against the New York Knicks, round 1. Nobody was talking about any shooting percentages as Trae Young was beating the brakes off the New York Knicks. And Knicks fans are still saying F Trae Young to this day. In that same series, Kevin had 8, 10, 10, 11, and 8. Hunter, 5 points. He did have an 18-point game, then 11 points, 5 points, and 15 points against the Knicks. Against Philly, Trae Young, 35 points, 10 assists, 21 points, 11 assists, 28 points, 8 assists, 25 points, 18 assists, 39 points, 7 assists, 34 points, 12 assists, 21 points, 10 assists. We beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Game 7, Kevin had 27 points in the Game 7, obviously, but he also had a 3-point game and a 10-point game and a 0-point game in that same series. Hunter wasn't playing at all. The Bucks series, 48 and 11, Game 1. Now, Game 2 didn't play well for him, 15 and 9. Game 3, 45 and 4. Missed games 4 and 5, and then playing hurt 19 and 9. In that same Bucks series, Kevin had 13, 8, 11, 15, and 8, and 6. That's what Kevin did. That's how he helped. And we're supposed to be like, oh, man. No, that's what actually happened. If we had had somebody that averaged more than 10 points a game as a shooting guard, the Hawks still might have beat the Bucks, despite Trae being hurt. 19 and 9 ain't bad. We just need a little bit more. We needed more than 6 points in Game 6 from Kevin Huerter, for sure. Don't you agree? Does anybody disagree for that? Like, I just showed you what some of the other players in that ECF run did, and you're trying to legitimately be like, I'm cool with those results per what you just heard me say? Like, because that's what actually happened. You see what I'm saying? Now, again, that Miami series, John, Gallo, Bogey, Clint wasn't really available. Game 1, I believe, let's see. Kevin Knox had 10. Collins had 10, Gallo had 17, Hunter had 14. That first game, Trae went 1 for 12. It was terrible. They were killing him. Game 2, Trae had 25 and 7. We didn't win that game. We could have, possibly. Kevin had 9 points. Gallo had 2. John had 13. Again, John shouldn't have even been playing. John had 13 in that game. Bogey had 29. Hunter had 16. Clint didn't play. Game 3, Trey had 24 and 8. We did win this game. Hunter had 17. Kevin had 13. Gallo 11. John 6. Bogey had 18. Game 4, Trey had 11 and 6, had 8 rebounds. Hunter had his best game pretty much as a pro, 35 and 11. We've never seen him do that again. They also had 3 steals in that game. 3 steals. Don't tell me he can't do it. Kevin had 12. John had 7. Clint was back. He had 2. Gallo had 12. We lost that game by 3. We lost that game by 3 points. Trey didn't have a good game overall, but what if Kevin had more than 12? Could have won that game possibly. But we got knocked out by, in 5 games. Now, the Boston series, which is last year still, right? Game 1, Trey had 16 and 8. Game 2, he had 24 and 6. Game 3, he had 32 and 9. Game 4, he had 35 and 15. Game 5, he had 38 and 13. Game 6, he had 30 and 10. He was averaging 2 steals a game in that series. But we're supposed to be told, it's Trae Young's fault. We can't do nothing. Game 1, DJ, again, and I've said this, DJ did his job in the Boston series as a player. Game 1, DJ had 24. Hunter had 11. Collins had 12. Clint had 12. Bogey had 9. We lost that game 112 to 99. So all we needed was one more player to help us out just a little bit. Game 2, DJ had 29. So again, Trey and DJ were doing their thing. Hunter had 18 in that game. John had 5. Clint had 4. Bogey had 18. Lost that game 119 to 106. Game 3, DJ had 25. Hunter had 11. Clint had 10. John had 8. Bogey had 15. Bay had 15. JJ had 10. We win this game by 8, 130 to 122. Game 4, again, DJ had a decent game, 23 points. Hunter had a good game, 27 points. Clint had 10. John had 5. Bay had 5. Bogey had 8. We lost that game 129 to 121. Now, game 4, remember what I said? 35 and 15 in game 4. So Clint had 10, John had 5, Bay had 5, Bogey had 8. We lost 129 to 121 with Trey doing what he did and DJ and Hunter doing what they did in that particular game. Now, game 5, DJ was suspended. Hunter had 13, Bogey had 18, John had 22. Clint had 4, Bay had 12. Trey hits the game-winning shot. We win 119 to 117. And then game 6, DJ had 14, didn't have a good game. Hunter had 20, John had 16, Clint had 10, Bogey had 12. We lost that game 129 to 120. Game 6, Trey had, what did I say? 30 and 10. So Trey had 30 and 10, DJ had 14, Hunter had 20, John had 16, Clint had 10, Bogey had 12. We lost by 9 points. But we're blaming Trae Young on everything, though, right? Because that's what happened. We just need a few pieces. And relatively, we're still, man, it's 2014. We're still not that far away. But the continuation of not doing nothing at all again for a 3rd season is really unacceptable. I don't know why people are accepting it and cool with it. We didn't address the needs that we needed to. We're not a better team. From 2022 to 2023, we weren't a better team. We virtually got worse, and our record dictated that. So to go from 2023 to 2024 season and not do anything again to address the needs, again, the Atlanta Hawks, 28th in blocks. Look at the fast break points that we give up. We're at the bottom of that. All the things that kills us every game, we didn't do anything to fix those things. Second chance points. The height things is going to get worse. Wemby might put 70 on us. Do y'all really want to see that happen? Check. Now, SAR. Edie had 14, 15, and 4 blocks in his first game. Clint can't stop him. He's already done scored 30 points on Clint already. I'm calling it. So we haven't done anything. We haven't done enough. I hope ZR works out somehow or another, but he didn't fit the need. He didn't fit the need that we really needed. I just don't get the hatred for Trae Young, because you didn't hate none of the other. You don't hate Dominique Wilkins for not winning a championship. You don't hate him for not stopping Larry Bird and playing defense on anybody, because Dominique was never. When was the last time you heard Dominique shut somebody down? So if that's the premise, you should hate Dominique as much as you hate Trae Young. But Dominique Wilkins is a Hall of Fame player. Dominique Wilkins is a Hall of Fame player with a statue in front of State Farm Arena, and his jersey is in the banner. I mean, is in the banner section at State Farm Arena. If Trae Young plays long enough, think about this now. In 6 seasons, Trae already leads the Hawks in assists. If Trae Young plays 8+ years, he has a possibility of being over Nick as far as points as well. And then in NBA history, Trae Young could be in top 10 in both assists and scoring if he plays long enough. Think about that. He's already 4th all-time in assists per game. Already. Like, nobody else is doing that. Like, think about how monumental that statement is. I just said it. But y'all hate him for that. Y'all hate the fact that he wants to pass the ball. You hate that part because you say, oh, well, it's defense. And then you got all these other players who didn't play defense, and they're lauded. They're applauded. Steve Nash never stopped nobody. He's a 2-time MVP. 2-time. And he didn't win no championship either. Did he? Did he win a mysterious championship that I didn't know about? No, he didn't. He had some pretty good players around him put together. His team could at least compete in the Western freaking Conference. All I want is a center that can finish in the paint and hit an occasional jump shot, so that way we're not playing 4-on-5 on offense. And I just want a defensive center that can deter some shots. That let me think twice about trying to lay this ball up, because I might get it blocked. Let me pass it back out. Let's reset. I just want somebody that can actually do that. I want somebody who can get 3 blocks a game. When are we? The last time we had that was Dikembe Mutombo, Defensive Player of the Year twice as a Hawk. How long ago did Dikembe play? Him and Mookie are the only guys that we've ever had as defensive first team or second team all defense. How long ago was that? You got to want to put defensive players on a team. Just like the Atlanta Braves went and got Sid Bream and freaking Terry Pendleton and said, you're going to be on our corners and we're going to improve this defense with these young pitchers that are about to come up, but they're really good. We just got Rafael freaking Belliard. He didn't hit for nothing, but he didn't let nothing get by him. And what did the Braves do? They went from worst to first. And all of a sudden, we're World Series contenders. Ain't that interesting? What if the Atlanta Falcons had did that for Matt Ryan? Instead of having the bottom tier defense for 20+ or 15+ years, what if we had did something to say, we're going to have a top 15 defense each year? Each year. We got to the Super Bowl with the 28th ranked defense in football. Think about that. Think about that. What if we had just did a little bit more? Just a little bit more. It matters. You got to put a whole team together, not bits and pieces, not duct tape it. I don't have it on me because where's my bag? It's way over there. I was going to pull out the duct tape. you gotta do more to compete. And we've seen in 6 seasons, all the other teams in the East get better because of their drafts and free agency and their trade decisions. All the other teams in the East are above us. All of them. The Cavs are above us. The Magic are above us. The Knicks are above us. Everybody's above us. The Bulls are above us right now. But now look at the teams below us. Shoot, the Wizards might come out of nowhere all of a sudden, right? And we're just going to stand pat? Like, that's basically what we said. We said, no, we'll just run it back again. We'll just do this little bit of move, and we'll draft this player and hope it work out. And ta-da! 45 losses. Maybe the play-in. The Hawks could have beat Boston last year, went to 6 games with them after winning the play-in. It's possible if you just have enough, but that shouldn't be the goal. The goal shouldn't be the play-in each year, because that's what our goal is right now. But again, our owner don't care. He doesn't care, and he's shown that. He's slapping us in the face. We don't care. They just care about looking good on Saturday night. Party, party, party. Looking good. Hot girl over there. I don't know how the kids talk nowadays. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. But that's all they care. If that's all they care about, he's going to cater to that. That's what he's done. That's exactly what he's done. As long as y'all are entertained, y'all don't care about what happens on the court. You really don't. And I guess that's the most disappointing part. You don't care about what happens. And since you don't care, he don't care, and he don't have to care. He's keeping all his money, and he's just watching all these other teams beat us. And we don't have a chance. And y'all believe it's because of one player. If we didn't have Trae Young in that Boston series last year, we get swept, basically. If we didn't have Trae Young in that Knicks series 3 years ago, we don't beat the Knicks. For sure. I just told you why. Look at what everybody else did. Kevin Huerter was supposed to carry us? Really? Holding them back? Trae Young's holding Kevin Huerter back on his 12 points a game average. Really? Kevin Huerter got a lot of wide open threes because of Trae. But we also supposed to believe that Dominique Wilkins was holding back Dwayne Farrell or John Battle or Tree Rollins or John Concact too. Take Dominique Wilkins off of all those teams. What do the Hawks do? Right? That's what we're supposed to believe. If you carry it all the way, if you carry the thought process all the way through, no, when you have other players that don't play great on defense, but they do other things well, you put other players around that player. That's what you do. Because that's what I do. When I pick up 5 people and I know one of my people ain't the best at something, I don't worry about that. What are you good at? You can hit the 3, you stand in the corner, sir. I'm going to post up. And when that double team comes, because they're going to double team me every time, you just make sure you're open because I'm getting you the ball. Especially when they're younger. They don't know what to do really, but they can shoot. I just need you to shoot, sir. Don't hesitate. I'm getting you the ball. I'm going to fake it here, but I'm coming to you. You're really fast. Give me the ball in the post. You cut. I'm going to give you a layup every time. They can't get around me. Boop, layup. I'm going to set a screen for you. Come on around. Boom. Can't get around my screen. Boom. I love setting screens. I love putting people on the ground. The Hawks don't even set screens to get people open. We don't even do the basics. Ain't y'all mad about that? It infuriates me. Because nobody has no pride. Nobody has no gumption to do it. But the one player who wants to win all the time, y'all don't care about him. Y'all care about Garrison, Matthews, and Whitmore. Who's this? Oh, this is my mom. All right, so I got to go officially. Let me get out of here, y'all. So do me a favor. Hopefully you enjoy it, even though this is an impromptu show. It's 2.5 hours. That's crazy. Check out the other 5 games that I've done on around the ATL. The Bulls play-in game, shot for shot, Pacers, game 82, Timberwolves, game 81. Hornets, game 80. That doesn't sound, that's correct. And then game 79 against the Heat. Game 79 against the Heat is the first one without Trae Young that I've reviewed. The Nuggets is game 78, which is going to be the next game I review. But I'm going shot for shot. And at the beginning of the show, what I do is I say, here's what that team did in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, and three-point percentage. And here's what the three best players on the other team did. And then I go shot for shot to see how Trae Young messed it up. I try to help people prove it. But when you go through shot for shot and you don't hear Trae Young's name a whole heck of a lot, you have to start looking at it. Well, wait a minute. So if Trae Young was on the other side of the floor guarding his man, and Hunter gave up this layup, how was Trae Young involved in that? Or Clint Capella giving up this layup to Bam that I just showed y'all earlier. How was Trae Young involved in that? How did he stop Clint from stopping Bam getting a layup on him? That was a full-blown layup. Dribble drive all the way to the basket. How does DJ just let DeLon Wright get 3 straight shots? He can't stop him 3 straight times? Layups, 2 of them? Wide open three-pointer, the last one? How does Bogey give up that three-pointer to Highsmith at the end of the first overtime? The Hawks had the game won. Game was over. How do you give up 18 three-pointers in a double overtime game that you needed to win? And then you continue to blame it on Trae Young. Doesn't make sense. It's comical, really. Just say you hate Trae Young. It don't got nothing to do with Trae's defense. It don't got nothing to do with that. It doesn't. You just hate Trae Young. Trae Young is not the best defensive player. But that's not why he is here. If you wanted that, we should have got Jaren Jackson Jr. instead. Or at worst, Colin Sexton. We should have got Jaren Jackson Jr. then. You see what I'm saying? He gets you 4 blocks a game, 3-4 blocks a game for sure, right? And kept Dennis. There you go. That would have fixed it, right? What has Dennis done in the playoffs? Let's see. Dennis is pretty good, right? Dennis Schroeder. Let's see here. Atlanta Hawks. Playoffs. There you go. Look at that. In the 2016 season, he averaged 24 points a game. There you go, right there. Should have kept Dennis, right? He never did that again, though, of course, in the playoffs. Dennis last year in Brooklyn averaged 14 points a game. Anyway, guys, let me get out of here. Make sure you follow on Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you're on more. IMTM Worldwide Radio. I guess I need to go through those real quick. There it is. And you can follow me on Twitter if you haven't already, Until at ATL. You see it right there. My co-host Jordan Jackson, Jordan23 ATL. You can join the show on Twitter as well, IMTM Radio. And like I said, I am planning to come up to Atlanta this Sunday, July 14th, I think that is. So if you know anybody who needs photos, please, support Black business, I guess you can say. IMTM Worldwide Images is right there. And then you can follow on Instagram, IMTM Worldwide Images 1 on Instagram. Just hit me up. Let me know that you saw the show. Say, hey, Chris, I know somebody who needs a photo shoot. Can you help them out? What kind of shoots do you do? All that kind of blah, blah. I'll get into details on that to help you out. But yeah, I appreciate everybody checking out a very impromptu show with no planning at all, just going with the flow, so to speak. But let's stop hating Trae Young because you hate Trae Young, because you can't hate Trae Young without hating every Atlanta Hawk who never helped us win a ring. You have to hate the great Hawks. You have to hate Dikembe. You have to hate Mookie. You have to hate Steve Smith. You have to hate Dominique Wilkins with the same passion. For the same reason in this case, because Dominique didn't play defense and he didn't shoot well in the playoffs. Shot 41% and 28% from three in the playoffs. You got to hate him for that. You got to loathe Dominique Wilkins for that. If you hate Trae Young for that reason, Trae Young has only played 27 playoff games, though. And it ain't because of Trae Young. It's because the owner has decided that's our limit. That's what we're going to do. Oh, well, he wanted DJ. The DJ thing didn't work. Okay, you fix it then. We can say that was on Trae as much as we want to, but it wouldn't have been if DJ had just played better defense and Hunter played the defense he's capable of and playing on the offensive side like he's capable of. But now it's like, oh, I got to come off the bench because I can't really handle the stress of starting. And having a center that can actually play both sides. We were close. We could have did more. But the owner decided not to, and we're just stuck in this loop. This. We're down there with the Wizards and the Pistons, y'all. Like, that should make, and the Hornets, that should make everybody really angry. And for some reason, y'all are not mad about that. Y'all are mad about your perception of Trae being the reason the Hawks can't win because of his defense, when it's really just everybody else ain't doing their job on defense. We don't block out. We don't know how to switch. We don't know how to rotate. We can't get back on defense. We don't contest shots. We don't talk. That's a group thing. And again, as what's his name again? Where is, oops, that's not it. Comment section, where is that? Drew Skrilla, nobody is held accountable for the errors and the mistakes. Trae Young makes some bum passes sometimes for sure, especially at the top of the key. But a lot of his passes that are quote unquote turnovers and attributed to him are actually the other players just fumbling the ball, fumbling, bumbling, stumbling, especially Clint. Okay. But yeah, Trae has some bum steals, turnovers, but the Hawks aren't losing the games off of 4 turnovers a game. Just like the Lakers weren't losing because Magic was getting 4 turnovers a game. That's 8 points at the most. What about the other 115 points that we give up? See, when you go shot for shot and you see who's giving up all the points, math messes your argument up about Trae Young giving up all the points. Because there's no way that Trae can give up all the points because Trae is not the only one on the floor. There's 4 other people on the floor. It's 5 people total. And there's 12 people on the team total. The Pacers game that we gave up 157 points, Muhammad Gay gave up 30 points himself. Bruno gave up 29. That's 60 points right there out of 157. Let's get real. That's the other thing that I do when I do the games at the end. I let you know how many points each player gave up too, just to break it down. In fact, because I don't think I did it, in the Miami Heat game that we lost 117 to 111 in double overtime with the Miami Heat hitting 18 three-pointers, in that particular game, DJ gave up 18 points. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. DJ gave up 18. Bogey gave up 19. JJ gave up 9 before he left the game with the injury. Clint gave up 10. Vic gave up 7. Garrison 5. Kobe 9. Hunter gave up 14 points. West 2. And Bruno 9. It takes a whole village to give up the final score of the game. Okay? And how I attributed points is one-on-one, did you give up the points because your man scored on you? And then 2, did you leave your man open and nobody else switch? Because once you switch, that player now has to be attributed to that goal if it's scored. We give up a lot of layups, guys, and a lot of wide open threes, and it's kind of messed up. And Trey didn't play that game. So again, why is the other team scoring? If the dead premise is Trey Young and his defense, when he's not on the floor, whether it be because he's on a break, he's been pulled because he's on a break, or he's not in the game because he's injured, the other team shouldn't be scoring points at all. Should be locked down city. We should be looking like the bad boys, second coming. And we ain't. And I think y'all would want to have that as the problem. But for some reason, y'all don't care about nobody else doing their job. That's a personal thing. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Again, one more time, make sure you subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. I appreciate the support there. If you can, help me out. If you know other people who like sports in Atlanta, because we don't just talk Hawks. This is Around the ATL Side Notes. It's a topic show. But the regular Around the ATL show, we do Braves, Hawks, Falcons, Atlanta United, Atlanta Dream, Atlanta Vibe, the new volleyball team. We also do college sports, UGA, Georgia Tech, some of the time. Georgia State, Albany State, Clark, everybody in college. We do football and basketball in college. Don't know if we're going to do any other sports in college this year. We'll see. And we do it seasonally, obviously. So right now we're not doing college football just yet. But that's the full 2-hour show that we do on all the sports. We do it segmented parts. So definitely check it out for that. So if you know people who like Atlanta sports, and you like how I put some of this together. Again, this is not a regular show. Like I said, I had just woke up when I started the show. I didn't even have notes or anything really. I just some of the notes I had were from previous shows, but I didn't do anything for this show, which was really strange for me because I usually don't do that. But I just was wanting to talk about the fact that if now the issue is in defense, now the issue is Trey's shooting percentage in the playoffs. I'm like, okay, well, let's check that out with Dominique then too. Because Dominique put up some shots. I used to model my jumper after Dominique Wilkins at a certain point. That's how much a Dominique Wilkins fan I was. I was shooting like Dominique Wilkins. Because back in the day, I could jump like Dominique a little bit, till I got older, of course. But I could score. I'm still a shooter. I don't shoot as much as I used to because I'm a team player. I'm not greedy. I'm not selfish. If you leave me open, though, I'm a hit. But I'm trying to get everybody else involved. I like passing the ball. I try to get 6 assists a game. That's my goal every time I play. If you pick me up, Chris is going to get you the ball. If you're open, it's coming. Better be ready for it. Better be ready to shoot. Y'all remember the Prince basketball skit, Dave Chappelle? Shoot it. Shoot the J. That's me. I'm blocking my man out, and I'm making sure you get a wide open shot. I'm trying to win each game. I'm not out there for exercise. The Hawks look like they out there for exercise half the time. And that's what you should be mad at. You should be infuriated and incensed and angry. Picket signs. If you follow me on Twitter on Intellect-ATL, you see me post that meme sometime from The Simpsons and the crowd with the tiki torches and stuff. I put that up a lot because it's like it's time for us to walk up to State Farm because this is unacceptable. Why ain't y'all mad? I just showed y'all a Miami Heat game that the Miami Heat beat us in double overtime basically because we wouldn't guard the three. And none of y'all are upset? Should be mad. That being said, we play and by the way, I haven't done it yet. I am working on it. I'm picking out some pictures, but I am going to change the intro eventually of the show to take Ritter out. But I'm still waiting to see if the Hawks do anything else. So that's why I haven't changed any of the Hawks pictures yet either. So be patient. It will change eventually. But I'm waiting. I'm thinking something else is going to happen. But I think I'm getting my hopes doused at this point. But that being said, let me go and get out of here officially. It's almost 3 hours. This is crazy. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Chris on IMTN Worldwide Radio. This was Around the ATL Side Notes. Make sure you watch the other shows, though, and be looking out for game 78 against the Denver Nuggets, where we gave up 60% from the floor and 56% from three, and we gave up 23 threes in the game. We're going to see how that happened in the next show. Till then, y'all take care. Peace.